Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This Funfold Friday, I am bringing back a different version of a card I did about 2 weeks ago. I did a landscape window card, and this was it. And the stamp set that I used was Whiskey Business. And I really enjoyed how this turned out. And so today I want to show you a different orientation. Today I want to show you how to make a portrait version, which is a version I learned from a fellow demonstrator. So let's get started with this. I decided to use Beauty of Friendship as my stamp bundle. This has some beautiful trees and lovely greetings in here, and it comes with a fantastic set of dies for making trees, and you've got a couple of frames to cut out for your greetings. I wanted to show you this tree because when I first saw it, the way it was attached to this metal piece here, I thought, well, how's that going to cut out? But it does, no worries. So I just wanted to show you the three pieces. So I'm showing you these two pieces here. This is the outline frame. Then this is an intricate die to cut out some foliage. And then this is the tree. So this is the solid piece that cuts out. So you can create a tree. This is the tree itself with the beautiful branches. So you could create a tree like this just by putting different colors of green or fall colors on top to make a tree. Or you could put this on top and then you could follow it with this intricate die. This one I happened to cut out of the designer series paper, but you could cut this out of different colors of different cardstock. So you could make summer colors or fall colors for trees. Or for winter, you could have a naked tree. And as I was looking at this just the other day, I decided this will be a great Halloween tree. Imagine seeing a little owl sitting up in the tree with some pumpkins down below. So I'm looking forward to using this for some Halloween cards. So there's what the trees kind of look like. And there are also some other trees that you can cut out from this set, smaller trees. So that's this one here. This is what this one looks like. And then I did the other foliage for this tree. So if you look in the stamp set, you've got this tree here. So you've got kind of a solid mottled image, and then you stamp over it with this one. So you can do two different tones. The same thing for this tree as well. This makes a really tall tree. You've got a little bit of spotting here that you could sprinkle all over your card. It could be snow for the winter. Anyway, a really, really fun little stamp set. And the thing I loved about it, what I was attracted to mostly, was the designer series paper. I love fall, and so look at the beautiful fall colors, okay? It's also designed to be used in summer as well and winter with these blue pieces here. So you've got these gorgeous colors. You've got your Bumblebee, Cinnamon Cider, Merry Merlot, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow, and Old Olive. I love the two different greens in here. And these are the two sides of the paper, okay? So when I actually cut this piece out here, I had cut it from this piece here. So it's got bits of white and the Cinnamon Cider and the two shades of green in there. But look how gorgeous this paper is. It's just beautiful paper. All right, so let's get started making this card. I've done most of the cutting out and the stamping just to save some time. So here are the pieces. So we've got, look at this designer series paper. It's got these trees all in a row, and I thought that was really, really cool. So we're going to use these two strips. This is for the inside of the card, some very vanilla. I have a piece of a window sheet here, which creates the window to look to the inside of the card. Then I have my card base here, which is 4 1/4 by 11, and an extra piece because I need to cut an extra strip of paper. Now, all of the cutting and scoring measurements will be in my blog post, and that has a link down below the video, so you can go and take a look at that. I'll have the pictures of the card and some instructions for that, as well as a list of all of the supplies that I use for this project. So should you wish to go shopping with me, you can do so. This is my June host code here, and my website is ericaedney.com. If you don't already have a demonstrator, I would be more than happy to help you with your shopping and designing. and anything else you want to know about Stampin' Up. So, okay, so I need to bring in the trimmer because we're going to do some scoring and cutting. So, the first thing we are going to do, or I am going to do, and you will be doing if you follow along with me, is this is 11 inches, so I need to do my center score line, which will be at 5.5. So let's give that a score. And then I'm going to open up the trimmer because I need to get to 7.25 inches, I believe. Let me just check my notes. I want to make sure I don't mislead you here. Yes, I'm going to line this up at 7.25. The left edge of the, you're on the long side, so line this up at 7.25. Okay, and now you're going to cut. So you're basically cutting off 3/4 of the front of the card, and set this aside because we're going to be cutting that as well. And then you can fold your score line here. So here's the front of your card. And now we're going to make some strips, and the strips are basically designed to cover up some adhesive that we're going to be using. So we want to cut this by 1 3/4 inches. So 1 3/4 for one piece, 1 3/4 for the second piece, and then I have this leftover piece or an extra piece of cardstock here that is 4 1/4. Yeah, so I'm going to cut this at 1 3/4 as well. So we need 3 strips of cardstock, and then I'll show you where these are going to go. I don't know if you can hear my wind chimes going outside, but it's very windy here in Victoria today. Sunny, beautiful day, but very windy. That's what comes with living on an island. We do get quite a lot of wind. All right, so I'm just going to burnish my score line here to make that lie a bit more flat. And then I am going to show you how to assemble this. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is take my window sheet. Okay, now this is cut at 4 1/4, so it's the same width of the card. So 4 1/4, and 4 1/4 by 5.5 is the size of your card here, but I cut it just a tad shorter because when you put this in, you want to drop this just below the score line here. And so when I did that, I had to trim off a little bit at the bottom. So I just thought, well, I'm just going to cut it a little bit shorter. I'm going to tap it to the bottom of the card, and then we're going to be gluing this top flap on top of that. Okay, so I'm going to pull out a ruler here, and I'm going to pull out my tear and tape, and I'm going to put a couple of strips of tear and tape on this top flap, and I like to use a ruler to cut it off. And let's put another piece in here. Okay, so I've cut that off like that. And I'm going to grab my take your pick tool, and I'm going to take the tape off. Okay, so I'm going to insert my window sheet. I'm going to make sure it's lined up on the right and the left side, and I'm going to tap it down to the bottom, and then I'm going to fold over this top flap and give it a good rub. Okay, then I'm going to take one of these strips, and I want to glue this down at the bottom of the card. So again, I will put some tear and tape on here. And I like to burnish my tear and tape to make sure that glue is really well stuck down. Take this piece off and this piece off. Okay, now you want to be careful and make sure you get this really well lined up. So I'm just going to hover and get my corners lined up. And then stick that down. Okay, so there's the top and the bottom of your card. So you can see on the inside where we have the adhesive, you can see that. So that's not very attractive for your recipient to look at. And so that's why you have these other two pieces of cardstock here that you are going to put on the inside. Now you want to make sure they line up really well. So sometimes you might have to just adjust your measurements. So as I look at this piece, I think I need to trim off a bit because I won't be able to fold the card because it's going over this fold line here. So I'm just going to trim a tiny bit off here. Okay. Hopefully the other one's okay, we'll see. So the important thing is to line it up with this edge here. Okay, so I'm going to put some more tear and tape on this panel here, or you could put it on the actual cardstock here. It doesn't matter where you put it. Once you get these pieces in, you will be ready to decorate your card. This is just the bones of the card that you're getting ready. Okay, so now I want to line this piece up. There we go. Okay, and then we want to do one at the top. Well, that's the one at the top, sorry. Now we're going to do this one at the bottom. Finished with the tear tape now, so I can put that away. All right, now this one we want to line up right towards the right at the bottom of the card. There we go. Okay, so there is our card base ready to decorate. Okay. All right, so what I've got here, let me just get rid of these pieces of backing here. So I've got my two pieces of designer series paper. I'm going to put one up here at the top, and I'm going to glue one down here at the bottom. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to grab my silicone craft sheet and my tape. And I'm just going to center that within this area here, like that. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. I don't know what I was looking for right there. It was right in front of me. And there's the bottom of our card. Okay, and then for the front of the card, So I thought I would design, maybe I cut these two trees out, okay? So I thought I would create a row of bushes on the inside. So what you need to do is, before you glue this in, I always want to stamp on my inside piece before I glue it in, just in case I make a mistake. So what you can do is you can put a bit of adhesive on the back to hold this in place if you wanted to. But I'm just going to kind of do that. And what I want to pay attention to is where the window sheet ends or starts, however you look at it. I'm going to grab my pencil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this out to the side, still lining it up at the bottom where I want it to go. Okay, and by pulling it out, I can now put a little pencil mark just to let me know where I'm going to be stamping my images. Okay, so if I line this up on my grid sheet here, sorry, this keeps moving around on me. If I line this up on my grid sheet, I'm just going to follow this line to the other side. Okay, so that's the line that I want to design. I'm going to be designing in this area here. So what I thought I might do is put some little bushes in here. And so I've got this smaller tree foliage, and I'm going to do a couple of greens. So I've pulled out my old olive, and I have pulled out my pear pizzazz. Okay, so one of these that has more design on it, I hope you can see this in the camera, this has more design on it than this one's, a little bit more flat. This is your base part of your tree. So I'm going to do this as my pear pizzazz. So here's my line here, and I'm just going to do these bushes. I'm just going to go a little bit below that line. And I'm just going to do a couple of bushes here. And then I'm going to grab the more detailed one and pick up old olive and go right over that image. Like that. Now let's just see what that looks like when I close the card. So that's really all the stamping I want to do on the inside, I think. So let me just estimate where I'm going to put my card in, and then I'm going to close the window. So there, you can see that we've got some bushes in there. Okay, so my intent then is to put a couple of these trees on the front of the card. So it looks like we've got some trees in front of a row of hedges. And I might actually put this one on the inside of the card. Let's see what that looks like. I could put one right in this corner here. Maybe. And you've got room down here just to put your signature or a quick little greeting. So yeah, I might stick this one on the inside. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this piece down. I'm going to grab an eraser and just get rid of these little tick marks here. Okay, so let's glue this down inside the card. I love these window cards. They're really fun to create. It's kind of like creating a stage set, really. Okay, and you could add another greeting inside here if you wanted to. I haven't even thought about my greeting yet for this card, but so let's just put this back in here. Okay, so there you've got your little bushes in the background. So now I'm going to open it up again. And I'm going to glue in this tree in here. So I'm going to use my Tombow glue for this. Just get that going. And I'm going to glue that in. As tempting as it is to put dimensionals on here, I'm going to save that for the outside of the card. Okay, let's put this on here like this. Oops, I need to go a little bit higher just to cover the top branch there. There we go. Okay, so that's the inside. Look at that, kind of looks cool, huh? And then we're going to do this one. So this one I'm going to glue, I'm going to make it a little bit higher, I think. Like that, okay? So I'm going to glue this. Now, you don't want to get glue on the window sheet because it'll show from the inside. So I'm going to put a tiny bit of glue on the bottom here and a bit of glue at the top. That's all the glue that I want on that. Okay, so tiny bit of glue here and a bit of glue at the top. Okay, you don't want glue to show through the window. Okay, now this piece I can now use some dimensionals. And we'll just take the backing off. And we will stick this on this tree. And there is your card. Isn't that cute? So cute. Now, if you wanted to put a greeting, so let me pull, I'm going to pull in another sample that I have here of another card that I did. So on the whiskey card, I had put a greeting at the top using our tag. We have a couple of different tag punches. So I did that. And then this is another card I made in the portrait orientation. This is the same stamp set. But here I actually used, you see, I cut out the detailed foliage just with old olive, and you can see the branches behind that, and I added this little bird here. But look at this designer series paper, and here I put Thinking of You down at the bottom. And there's my little design on the inside with a little bird sitting at the base of the tree. Isn't that cute? Okay, and so on this one, it kind of, I think I'm going to do a greeting on here. So let's do another Thinking of You. I love that greeting, and I think I already have it on an acrylic block here somewhere. Or I thought I did. Bear with me just a second. I thought I had it out here because I just used it in another project. Oh, here it is. Good. Okay. So let me grab a piece of, I have lots of these kinds of strips of paper from cutting my cardstock, and I think I'm going to use this Mossy Meadow, this dark green. And let's do this Thinking of You. Sorry if my head gets in the camera, but I'm trying to get right over the stamp. There we go, Thinking of You. And I think this one, I'm just going to do a real quick little flagged end. So I'm grab my paper snips. So just going to snip it. And then I'm going to go in up the middle and come in from the sides. There's my flagged end. Let's close my ink pad. And we'll put this on dimensionals as well. So if you just poke your nail into the tops of these dimensionals, the backings come off really easily. Okay, and let's do this thinking of you. Now, you could put it right over the window if you wanted to, but it kind of hides the background, or I could put it down at the bottom. You could put it at the top. I think I'll just put it down here at the bottom, and I don't want to cover these little beautiful trees here. I think I'm going to put it right here, actually. Thinking of you. There we go. And yeah, so I didn't cut out any birds. I have some spare birds over here, but they're the wrong colors. I've got Night of Navy and Mary Merlot here. I don't have any birds cut out right now for this project, but yeah, because it does come with some little birds. See, here's the little birds right here. So it's one die and it cuts out two little birds. Isn't that cute? Very cute. Yeah, so there you go. There are your 3 different window cards. Let me pull back the whiskey one. Look at that. So once you know how, it's really not that difficult to make. So I welcome you to make one of these and have fun with it. Thank you once again for joining me. And if you have any questions, you can reach me on my website, ericaedney.com. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much. Bye for now.